If you're an experienced sales leader, you know the biggest thing holding you back isn't a lack of skill. It's not knowledge. You already know what to do. No, the real obstacle, the one that quietly puts the brakes on growth, is something a lot more subtle. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Hesitation. It's that little voice that says, wait. Wait for the offer to be more polished, or the positioning to be a little tighter, or for that perfect moment to finally reach out. So in this explainer, we're going to tackle that professional hesitation head on and give you a framework to actually move past it. So what's the real cost of all that waiting? On the surface, waiting can feel responsible. It feels safe. But the truth is, every single moment of delay has this heavy compounding price, a price that a lot of leaders just don't see until it's way too late. That hesitation, well, it feeds a kind of death spiral. It starts small, right? A thin pipeline. Then comes the unpredictable revenue. And that, of course, shortens your financial runway, which naturally starts to build anxiety. And when you're anxious, it's so much harder to show up authentically in your conversations, which, guess what? Leads to even worse results. It's a vicious cycle, and the whole thing is powered by inaction. But here's the thing. This downward spiral isn't just some random string of bad luck. There's actually an unseen force at play here. It's a fundamental principle that's governing your results, whether you're paying attention to it or not. We call it the momentum loop, and believe me, it is always running. Here's how it works. Your belief about what's possible, that shapes your potential. Your potential dictates the actions you're willing to take. Those actions produce results. And then, those results feed right back into your belief. So this loop is either building you up, compounding your success, or it's quietly digging your grave. There really is no neutral gear. And all of this connects back to a really simple, powerful concept from high school physics. Seriously, this isn't about mindset or motivation. It's physics. The law of inertia applies to your business just as much as it does to a rock. And it explains exactly why starting is always the hardest part. You're not just fighting your own doubt, you're literally fighting a fundamental law of the universe. So this brings us to the central tension of it all. The very thing that feels safe, hesitation, is what's actually eroding your belief and quietly killing your business. And at the same time, the thing that feels risky, taking imperfect action, is what actually builds momentum, creates data, and drives you forward. And this leads us to a really critical misunderstanding, because this is where most leaders just get it completely backward. They think they need to feel ready before they can act. And that one little misconception is exactly what keeps them stuck. Just let that one sink in for a second. This is the core insight. You don't take action because you finally feel ready. You start to feel ready because you started taking action. The movement itself is what creates the confidence, not the other way around. And when you look at it this way, it totally reframes the entire concept of failure. See, when you take imperfect action, you literally cannot lose. You either get the result you were hoping for, or you get valuable feedback. It's all just data. Suddenly, failure isn't a threat anymore. It's just fuel for your momentum loop. So how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? Well, the solution isn't just to try harder or summon up more courage. The solution is to adopt a structured process, a real system that's designed for intelligent, disciplined action. And this part is absolutely key. Failing forward is not some motivational platitude. It's an operational framework. It is a structured process with built-in guardrails that are designed to make taking action safe, not reckless. It allows you to start sooner, to learn faster, and to adjust earlier, all while deliberately building that momentum. The framework itself runs in 3 distinct phases. First, you commit. You lock in your direction and you get rid of all the ambiguity. Second, you fail forward. This is where you execute in small, controlled steps designed to generate data. And third, you compound. You just stay in motion long enough for that momentum to really take hold and start delivering those big results. When you consistently operate inside this framework, something really powerful starts to happen. The path to hitting your goals, it stops feeling like a gamble. It starts becoming clearer, more direct, and honestly, a lot more simple. The daily work just boils down to this simple, repeatable discipline. You commit clearly to a goal, you show up, and you run the reps, especially when it's imperfect. You learn from the feedback, and you adjust early. And the most important part, you just stay in motion. And when you do that, when you embrace consistent, imperfect action through this kind of process, you change the entire equation. Success is no longer a question of if or a matter of luck, it just becomes a matter of time. It becomes inevitable.
So we'll end here. The only real question left for you isn't about finding the perfect plan or some breakthrough idea. It's simply about this. How will you choose to break inertia right now? Not with some giant, terrifying leap, but with one small, deliberate, and imperfect step.